my lovely YouTube family. Thank you for clicking on this video. Chapters with Moyo is the name of this channel. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Moyo. On this channel, I love to share inspiring stories based on real life events. I also do skits on some other days. Skits also based on real life stories. Today, I'll be sharing a touching story of a young man who lost his life in marriage. Join me after the break. You're welcome back. I tell the story of a popular NBA basketballer whose name was Lawrence Wright. By the end of the story, you will know why I use the word was. So Lawrence Wright was born in the US in November 4, 1975. In high school, he was a talented basketballer. His height was also an advantage to him. So he represented his school in playing basketball. When he went over to college, he continued representing his school in playing basketball. It was not surprise to anyone that he got drafted into the NBA. So he went to meet his parents, who were now divorced, but he was close to both his father and mother, telling his mother now, "Mom, I've been drafted into the NBA and I would like to go in." His mom says, "No, Lawrence Wright, I want you to get a degree." Lawrence Wright then said, "Okay, get me the $1 million fund I need for this degree." And the mother said, "Oh, we don't even have the money." "Okay, when is the NBA starting? When the competition started?" And that was it. That's what made Lorenzo just go on with his desire to go and play for the NBA. Not long into playing for his team, everyone could see that he was a star. He was highly skilled, 6 feet 11 inches guy. Whenever he scored points, he had this habit of clinging onto the net. He was so skilled and talented in his plays that even those who don't love to watch basketball, whenever Lawrence Wright was in court, they would want to stay tuned on that channel. So Lawrence Wright made a lot of money. When Lawrence Wright was in high school, he met Shara. Shara was the daughter of his coach. They fell in love, they had a son together, and then they got married. Not much details is known of the exact date of their marriage. Lawrence Wright and Sharon would go on to have 7 children together. So they had a boy, they had a girl, they had twin boys, and their last child was a daughter. Unfortunately, they lost that child at just 11 months old. This devastated the family. Lawrence Wright, even though he made good money during his NBA career, was also a heavy spender. It was reported that Lawrence Wright would go on and pay college tuition fees of anybody and anyone who asked for it. Lawrence Wright also loved to pay the ticket fees of his friends just for them to come and watch the basketball match he's playing. So wherever his friends are, he will pay for their ticket fees, he will pay for the match fees. He was always spending, and he loved to buy cars. So he had a large collection of cars. As money was coming in, money was also going out. His wife, Shara, did not help matters because she also loved jewelry. She was a heavy spender as well. As time went on, Lawrence Wright was not making as much money as he used to. This put a lot of stress in the marriage. There was a lot of quarreling. On the other hand, too, Sharon began accusing her. They both accused each other of extramarital affairs. There was a lot of fighting. Wright's friends report that Lawrence Wright frequently complained to them, saying, "I think this, my wife Sharon, has always been about the money, not even about love." In 2010, Sharon Wright filed for divorce. So in February, Lorenzo moved to Atlanta, leaving his ex-wife now and 7 children in Memphis. Along the line in July, Lorenzo Wright had something to do in Memphis. His sister was having a baby shower, and he had a daughter who had a dance program in school. And it was also an opportunity for him to see family anyway in Memphis. So he flew down to Memphis. While in Memphis, he went out with one of his friends, and also his son was in his company. Lorenzo Wright's friend reports that while with Lorenzo, Shera called aggressively, demanding that Lorenzo, her ex-husband, returns her son to them as he had spent a lot of time outside home. To which Lorenzo Wright obliged and promised to bring the son back home immediately. Then it was time for the baby shower. No one heard from Lorenzo Wright. Everyone knew something was funny because Lorenzo Wright was one who holds his family dear. He does not miss occasions. And no one heard from him. There was no text message, there was no call saying he was not going to come. He had flown in actually to come for the baby shower anyway and for other activities. So the mother of Lorenzo immediately reached out to his ex-wife, Lorenzo Wright's ex-wife, Shera. Have you heard from Lorenzo? We've not seen him since he flew in here. And she nonchalantly said, of course, you know your son, he has gone out philandering up and down town, probably to see his girlfriends. And so this mother went to the police and complained about a missing person. Said she filed a missing person complaint, and she also cited to the police that she's suspecting Shera as knowing about the whereabouts, or she just reported Shera as being the only major contact. So then the police began investigating. Day 1, day 2, day 3, they didn't find any trace of Lorenzo Wright. 9 days after, they found a dead body who was badly decomposed because this was July, and July was a very hot summer. It was a very hot summer. But they were able to identify that this dead body had at least 11 gunshot wounds. They were able to identify the body as Lorenzo Wright. Then they began another series of investigation. Who killed Lorenzo Wright? They went back to Shera, his ex-wife. Shera, we found the dead body of your ex-husband. We need you to help us with investigations. Do you have any suspicions? Do you suspect anyone who might have done this? Because these are gunshots, so someone did this. Shera said, oh wow, there was a time we were together and 2 men came over with guns asking for Lorenzo, saying he's owing them money, and they threatened that I must not report to the police that they came around. And so wow, so the police were forced to think or assume that Lorenzen had gone into shady businesses with some people. After all, his finances were no longer as good, so they felt he had started doing drug business, and these drug people had killed him. So the case actually started dying down because there was no lead. In fact, after some time, the family of Lorenzo, now his mother's family, his mother and his other family now, put out $21,000 for anyone who comes up with the lead to the killers of Lorenzo Wright, of which nothing good came out of it. 5 years went down the line when Sharon Wright wrote a book. This book, titled Mr. Tell Anything, had a funny story. Sharon Wright described in a book of how a popular NBA star was very rich. He had married a woman older than he was, but was so abusive to this woman. He was a serial cheat, and he was abusive. He did not treat the woman well, and that woman was not a version of herself, and the woman was full of revenge and anger. And then she went on to even tell her book buyers, watch out for the next sequel, because in the next sequel, she was going to expose or tell how the NBA star got murdered. And that was going to be the story of the next sequel. And everybody started scratching their heads and asking questions. What's this? Is this woman actually describing her own self? And possibly the story of of her husband, Lorenzen Wright, while they were married. So not long after, a journalist set up an interview with Shera Wright and asked her questions. Directly he asked her, "Do you know about the murder case of your ex-husband, Lorenzen Wright?" And in her response, she just said, "I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a pastor." Now, Shera Wright was a pastor in a church. She didn't even deny the allegation or the question. All she was just saying is she's a wife and she's a mother and no one should link her with such a sentence. And she's a pastor. Okay. But of course, police investigations by this time were tickled. They had seen her book and they went back to her for questioning. So then they realized that the story that she had given them 5 years earlier did not match with the new story she was telling them now. She was saying different things about who she suspects and what she thinks happened. So well, of course they suspected her, but they did not have any evidence to pin the death of her ex-husband on her. Time went on again and the case started dying until about 2 years after, there was another man called Martin who just got arrested for killing his girlfriend. While that Mr. Martin was in court, they were asking him questions. And then Mr. Martin just said, "I have something to say, but it's not in relation with this case you are dealing with for." They said, "What do you have to say?" He said, "I know about the death of popular NBA star Lorenzen Wright." And they said, "Oh, you know about the death? Did you kill him?" He said, "No, I didn't kill him, but I know who killed him." He said, "Who?" They said, "He said, my cousin Shera Wright killed Lorenzen Wright." And they said, "Are you sure of this accusation? Are you just trying to distract us from following your case?" He said, "Okay, to prove to you that I know, to prove to you that I'm telling the truth, go to this lake. In this particular lake, there is a gun. Because when Shera and Turner, who happens to be a church member and also a pastor in the same church Shera attends and her landscaper, Turner and Shera planned this together. When they killed him, they actually asked me to kill him, but I said I could not do it. So they did it themselves and asked me, and Shera asked me to dispose the gun, and I personally chewed that gun. Martin said he chewed the gun in a particular lake. So the FBI divers went straight into action, dived into the lake and truly found that gun as described by Martin, which made them believe that truly he knows about this case. Immediately they went to arrest Shera and Turner, who people believe were secret lovers, Turner and Shera. So, the first of all, Shera pleaded not guilty, but after a while, she pleaded guilty. And what this meant was that before trial, because she pleaded guilty, her sentence will not be life imprisonment, but was reduced to just 30 years, with the possibility of parole after spending 7 years in jail. Of course, the mother of Lorenzo was not too happy that she was probably going to be allowed out of jail in just 7 years, was spending only 30 years, but she was still glad that at least the death, the murderers, the ones who killed her husband, her son, had been found, and she was like, at last her son can rest in peace. This is a very touching story of what two people who should have come together as lovers to make themselves a better version of themselves, how it's ending in a tragedy. Now Shera Wright is currently serving prison time. My dear viewers, is there any lesson you have learned from this story? Share in the comments section. Also like this video. Also feel free to share, and of course subscribe so that you'll be notified anytime I post new stories. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.